Welcome back to Hot Ticket, your source for what's happening in Hampton Roads. I'm your host, Stephanie Sutton. The Virginia Living Museum features some of the most exotic animals indigenous to Virginia. They currently have a special exhibit featuring the Masters of the Night. Here with me to talk about the so-called creepy creatures is Judy Triska and Susan Summers. Welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here.
Now first, let's talk about what the Virginia Living Museum is about and what kind of animals you all have there.
Right, we're located in Newport News, and we have 250 species of animals that are all native to Virginia. We have a boardwalk outside, we have an aquarium area, we have various habitats, a cypress swamp habitat, a mountain cove, a world of darkness, and just a variety of things of animals you may not know are in Virginia.
Now, an animal that people may not know we have here are bats.
Yes.
Now let's talk about where bats reside here in Virginia.
Gosh, we have in Virginia, I believe it's 17 different species of bats. They can be found in different areas. Most people know bats live in caves, but in Virginia they could also live in places, swampy areas. They could live under the bark of a tree. They could be under the siding of your house. So there are places that people probably don't realize bats could be close by. I know there are places people have bat houses in their backyards, that there are barns and old buildings. So yes, you'll find them all over the place.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about bats? I mean, you always see them in scary movies and they look really just creepy. So what's one of the biggest misconceptions?
I think the first one is that they're all vampires, and which is like not even true. Thank you, Hollywood, but no, they are not vampire bats. We have bats in Virginia that are insect eaters. So, you know, if you have a farm or a farmer or even have a garden in your backyard, and if you dislike mosquitoes, you will be happy to know that the bats around here eat a lot of different bugs, you know, a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of different bugs that would be eating the crops that, you know, we are growing for food. So we totally need them. We appreciate them for the fact that they help us out.
Right. Now, when I first heard about the bats, I had no idea that they were part of the life cycle. I mean, that is so interesting, and this is information that people will learn when they come see the exhibit, right?
Yes, definitely. Bats will, you know, in our area, they're really important because of our food, you know, our produce, that sort of thing. But around the world, you know, I personally like chocolate, I like coffee, I like mangoes, bananas, avocados, and bats have a lot to do with pollination of those things, with dispersal of seeds of those plants, and also eating insects that might be, you know, eating the plants that are growing our cocoa and our coffee. So I love them for that, because those are my two favorite things. So
we're going to run some footage that we have, but Judy, let's talk about some of the exhibits that are going to be featured. We have a few model bats and just a lot of interesting things. Let's talk about that.
Right. It's taking place in our changing exhibit gallery, and there are no live animals in this particular section of the museum, or no live bats, excuse me. But it's very hands-on. You see there you have a large pair of bat ears that you can wear. We have a photo opportunity there where you can actually be a bat and flip your picture upside down and be hanging like a bat. We have models. A lot of hands-on for the kids, a lot of hands-on, so they're able to experience it up close and personal. It's really a great exhibit.
And that's so interesting. I was so happy when I got to check it out. I mean, you learn so much about bats, and even though there won't be live animals there, we have a live animal here on set. Talk about what kind of bat this is.
This, amazingly enough, is called a big brown bat. And this is one of our common ones that are found in Virginia. Yes, it's, you know, actually pretty small. There is even a little brown bat that's smaller than this one is. But, you know, hopefully you can see it's got a sweet little face, sweet little ears, and a lot of people think that bats are blind, that they can't see, but that's not true. You can see little eyes there. They can see perfectly well, but they have this great adaptation called echolocation, which allows them to use sonar to find their food. So when they're flying around, they're using this sound, they're, you know, sending it out of their mouth and their nose, it's bouncing off what's out there, and it's echoing back, so they can figure out where the insects are that they're looking for. Now, a lot of people are afraid, this is another myth, that people think that bats are always, you know, if they're out and around you, they're gonna fly into your hair and into your head. And They know exactly where you are. Their echolocation is so good that they can detect the width of a human hair, which is really fine, you know. But they're flying over you because usually in the summer, you know, you have bugs flying over your head.
Right.
And they are flying to get the bug that's there. They don't necessarily care that you're there.
Right.
They're looking for the food source. So, you know, if they're in your area, they're eating bugs, they couldn't care less about you. So.
Now, all this information, like we mentioned before, is going to be at the Masters of the Night exhibit. And you even have a special place where you can press the button and locate where bats are across the world.
Sure, sure. There's a lot of hands-on, a lot of buttons to press and things for kids to interact with, which is what a lot of parents have really enjoyed so far.
And Judy, what's been like one of the biggest responses from the exhibit?
I just think they're an intriguing species, and a lot of people just truly wanted to learn more about them, you know. And even though some of the younger children might not like the bat, you know, or the concept of a bat, it's kind of a scary thing, but to realize that they're really wonderful, wonderful animals. And I think that's what our goal is, and throughout the exhibit, is to educate people that they're really great animals and a lot of fun.
And this is such a great exhibit for both kids and children. Like we saw in the video, you know, the adults are up there in the ears and just having a good time. So we only have about a minute left, but what's one thing you want people to walk away from the Masters of the Night exhibit?
For me, I think to get people to know that bats offer a lot more than the things in the horror movies show you. You know, yes, there are bats that eat blood, but yes, there are bats that eat scorpions, that eat frogs, that eat fish. They have great little faces. They have big ears, little ears. They pollinate things. There's so much to learn about them that people don't know. I think for me, it would be nice to have people realize there's so much out there that, you know, can recommend a bat to you instead of scare you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to checking out more of the Bats and More exhibit. To find out more about the true story of bats, check out the Masters of the Night exhibit at the Virginia Living Museum. And for additional information, log on to www.thevlm.org. For Hot Ticket, I'm Stephanie Sutton.